environment. Lions, Wolverines, and a whiteout in Happy Valley.
Can't imagine there's a better environment, not only in college football, but in all of sports.
It's unrivaled, it's unmatched. You don't see it anywhere else.
This is why we play the game, for games like this and environments like this.
You turn that corner, all you can see is white, the stadium shaking. You can barely hear yourself think. It gives me chills every time.
This is a Penn State team that is playing great defense.
Our defense is reckless.
The late handoff is smothered in the backfield.
Michigan, they lose this game, they are done. Jim Harbaugh might be done if he's not careful.
It's a challenge we're very excited about.
The whole season's at stake. We got to win every game.
This can catapult us for the rest of the season.
Treat every game like it's a championship game. Win or go home.
It's a chance to go out there and make a statement to the nation.
Playing in a football game, let's get that much excitement behind it. Invigorates anybody. My pride's at stake when we play in Michigan.
Get away from him early. 2 years ago, we were here for the whiteout.
Welcome to Countdown to College Game Day, presented by Samsung QLED TV. And you are looking at State College, Pennsylvania, where one of the best matchups in college football will be coming your way in prime time, 7:30 Eastern, as Michigan rolls into Beaver Stadium to take on the Nittany Lions of Penn State. It's a Big Ten matchup that historically has been one that's certainly impressive. You guys were live now on the Twitter show, so you can be excited if you want. These guys have been camped out for a while now, waiting for the shows to happen. The whiteouts are pretty important, and I found a guy who you think you're the next Kirk Herbstreit. So give me a breakdown of the matchup between Michigan and Penn State.
Well, last year when Penn State went to Michigan, we got trounced by the Wolverines. This year the key is big plays. KJ Hamler, Noah Kane, Sean Clifford. He needs to break tackles. We need to get downfield. Chunk plays, I think, are the biggest thing in this game.
Do you agree?
Absolutely.
And there we have it. So the whiteout's probably going to work at some point today. Here's what we know for sure. Penn State's trying to take the next big step. Top 15 team, we know they are. A team that could be in the top 4, we don't know, but we're going to find out today. So my best friends are here. Jason Fitz.
We're best friends now?
David Pollack.
He's talking about me. Oh, okay. Come on, man.
It's okay. Facts. But we're working on it. We're in what, week 8 or 9 or 10? I don't even know anymore.
You need gloves or just? I mean, y'all can act like you're tough. I have no problem looking at this. It is cold.
So I can move my card.
Well, and you know what?
To be honest, I would have gloves on right now if I could.
I got the little gloves that still let you work on a screen. So look at this. Like, I feel like this was a good investment. I'm sorry you want to have cold hands for the next 30 minutes. I, good sir, do not.
Oh, I got you, David. Here you go.
I'm solid.
Hot hands.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, week 8, guys. Let's talk about what we're excited about going into week 8. Hey, guys, how's it going? Besides all of the Happy Valley fans that we have here, what are you excited about going into this week?
The atmosphere. I mean, the atmosphere will be really fun. I'm excited about this matchup because I think it's two of the better, most hyperactive defenses you're going to see. And I'm excited about the Pac-12. I mean, I know that those words don't go together.
I was going to say.
Very often. But, I mean, we're going to find out a lot, too, with Oregon playing Washington. I think this is a tremendously good matchup. Jacob Eason, Justin Herbert. Obviously, we know about the 2 quarterbacks, and we've talked about them all year long. Going to be a fun game. Going to be an exciting game. And also, I think Arizona State and Utah has a chance to be a great game. So I know we typically focus on East Coast and everybody falls asleep on the West Coast, but Arizona State has been really good this year. Herm Edwards, it's got to be a candidate for Coach of the Year, by the way. And Jaden Daniels will be a superstar in the near future.
I heard you talking on your podcast. You were like, he's Heisman worthy. Like some of the plays that he made.
That's strong. I think that kid will be at a Heisman Trophy ceremony. He's got that kind of goods. And against Utah,
it didn't last very long.
Well, it's because Utah's not going to last very long. Might not be the best day for Arizona State today, but there's bright days in the future.
Okay, what you got? I know, I didn't laugh.
By the way, let's acknowledge Maria's joining me in the glove game. I'm just saying.
They're stylish and cute, though.
I don't know if I'd say excited, but I'm most interested to see Wake Forest today. Wake Forest taking on Florida State. Really? We need a second team in the ACC to really stand up and stand out. That was supposed to be Wake Forest, and they laid an egg against a Louisville team that they should have beaten handily last week. They lose, and they give up 62 points in the process. So for the sake of the argument of Clemson and what it means for the ACC, I'm excited to watch Wake Forest today, a team that I think bounces back and now has to win with style moving forward.
You and all of the 3 Wake Forest fans are excited.
Okay,
Clemson fans are excited,
so we've got
too.
the Pac-12 and we've got Wake Forest. I'm taking the whiteout for the win.
Homer!
I'm taking Penn State, taking on Michigan, and what is described as turbulence when you walk out on onto this field. You know, James Franklin, he holds the team right there in the tunnel. They get a chance to take in all the fans and hear what they're saying. And I think it makes a difference. Obviously, it's been an impact in this game. Home field advantage has mattered in Michigan and Penn State, and it's going to matter tonight. And I love coming to see the white out here in Beaver Stadium.
Yeah, but it can't affect Michigan's offense too much. I mean, let's be honest.
You don't think Michigan has an offense?
Their offense has been bad. And listen, I don't know what they are. I mean, you see them red zone areas, and it looks like Jim Harbaugh, and then you see them in the middle field, and it's RPOs, and it's Gaddis. But it's tough to find your offense when you can't communicate real well in this type of atmosphere. But you're right when you talk about the Tyler broadcast. Last 3 games in this matchup have been blowouts, not even close. I don't think there's an offense that can blow the other one out in this game. So it'll be the atmosphere will play a big role, and it needs to play a big role if you're a Nittany Lion fan.
Are you surprised how much Shea Patterson has struggled so far this season, completing 57% of his passes?
Yeah.
The wide receiver core is still good.
Yeah.
I mean, how does this wide receiver?
They still have people.
They only have 5 plays of over 40 yards for the whole season at this point.
5.
That's unexpected with wide receivers of their size and their ability. Shea Patterson's more. I mean, he's taken a massive step back to me, and that's not something we expected behind Harbaugh or with this Michigan offense.
Well, and that's why there was a coordinator change, because you expect something to be different. And I think it was more to fit Shea's skill set. Shea's never been a prototypical drop-back passer. He came from Ole Miss.
Oh, we got Corso.
Hey guys, he does that every time. Is that no? Does that mean anything to you?
Does that bother you that he does it
every time?
You can't tell him how the sauce is made.
Sorry,
Come on, like that's supposed to be a secret.
They're like, what?
I love the way he throws down the helmet so aggressively every week. I mean,
Get that out of here.
Coach just says it's like, I don't need this
I
helmet
don't need
every
it
week.
anymore. Next week at Michigan. Okay.
Are you saying we're going to be at Michigan next week?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, that means Michigan would win.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that?
That wouldn't happen.
Maria said Michigan's going to win.
I would never say that in Happy Valley, would I? You guys don't even believe that for 2 seconds.
All right, well, Happy Valley, obviously they're happy here. We got some awesome signs.
We do.
And I'm going to try and walk through. I don't know if can we go this way?
Go
We're
ahead,
I'm going to cut through you guys. I'm just cutting through you guys like I own the place, because there's some signs here. I mean, we get cool signs every week. This one stands out to me. Not only is this, okay, it is whatever o'clock and Michigan still sucks. Fine. The clock works. How long did it take you to come up with a working clock on a sign?
Well, I was at Walmart, I saw a clock and went, well, Michigan always sucks. So this is perfect to show the time, because the Michigan always sucks.
I mean, I'm just saying, the fact that the clock actually works.
That's impressive.
Like, that's a dedication. Also, I like this one over here. It says, why did Michigan cross the road? Because it was easier than crossing the goal line. The jokes about Michigan's offense here have been pretty spectacular as we go through, as we go through some of these sides. Also, we had one over here. We got the Maria Taylor head that's everywhere. There's been a lot of calls for Jim Harbaugh hands out raisins for Halloween. By the way, I don't have a problem with raisins for Halloween. And then this one, like the Harbaugh, okay. So I want to know the process on a sign. Like, you got Harbaugh shirtless in the khakis, slamming down the football. Where'd you find it, and how long did it take to cut it out perfectly?
Didn't take that long. We just made it and printed it out, put it on some poster board, and Michigan still sucks.
Oh. Okay. If there's one thing we've already figured out, we know the theme on Michigan still sucks. Here's what I know. Yesterday, Maria Taylor got the chance to hang out with one of the coolest super fans of Penn State. Check this out.
Okay, we made our way to Happy Valley, which means we have to stop in Nittanyville, and it also means that you're probably going to drip too hard. Jake Zim back here, and I want to walk through your entire story, because you had to actually end your football career, but you turned it into something so positive. Walk me back to a year ago when you have to make that announcement.
Yeah, so I was dealing with injury for a while. Obviously, it's hard playing quarterback here. You have big dreams of what you want to become and play in the stadium one day, but I had to make a tough decision to stop playing, but I knew that I wanted to do something where I was going to be able to stay around the team. I didn't think it would evolve into this. I knew I was going to help coaching, but this is a lot more fun, and it's really made my senior year really special.
What are we going to call you?
So I think technically my title is a student coach, but now I'm just like the wearer of the chains, and that's all people really know that I do. So
You're like the chain gang, the swag doctor of the team. Yeah. Let's walk through our favorite ones.
The GOAT is my favorite, probably. I try to add one every week, so we added the Jordan. The MP11 is Micah Parsons, obviously.
And Micah Parsons just drilled his quarterback.
Is there a new one coming?
There is a new one coming. I'm not going to release what it is yet, but you guys might want to stay tuned during the game. It's going to be pretty special.
Okay.
It's a special whiteout edition.
That was Jake Zimbeck, and I've already seen the special whiteout edition chain, and it drips too hard. It really is. It's cold. You guys are gonna like it. I can't wait to see it on the sideline.
You just want to let everybody know that you already saw it.
I've already seen it. I did.
I feel like you could rock that look though, Pollack. Like you could
insider.
show up in that, just wearing the chains and.
I'm not a jewelry guy, but
he's actually always wearing a chain underneath the tie. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
No, but I want
like gold.
I want 52 chains on top of it. Like
next week we'll make it happen. Okay. Do you guys remember what happened the last time Michigan rolled into Beaver Stadium? Does anyone remember?
Yeah, they got rolled out of here.
They got rolled out?
Yeah.
It didn't work out too well. 2017, let's go back and make everyone happy here in Happy Valley. Saquon Barkley went out for 161 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Penn State gets the win 42-13. And that's kind of been the story of this rivalry lately.
Yeah, it hasn't been super competitive. If you go back another year, you would also find Penn State getting rolled up in Ann Arbor. So
we're not talking about that right now.
Why is the question? Why is home field advantage such a big swing in blowout losses?
I don't know why it's such a big deal for Harbaugh. I mean, you look at his record on the road and against ranked opponents, it's really, really bad. And, you know, Michigan's going to have to do something to correct that. But listen, we talk about it every week. It's not just the fans. It's the communication that it's hard with the players. It's going to a new atmosphere. It's nerves. It's all that stuff, especially with young players. And it's going to happen. So your defense better travel. And that's the one thing that hasn't happened.
I was going to say, how is the defense affected when they're going on the road?
Defense is supposed to travel. Defense and special teams. It's supposed to be.
We haven't seen it.
No, because here's the thing. When my defense is on the field and I'm on the road, it's quiet. I can communicate, right? I mean, it shouldn't affect me that much. My offense is on the field. I got a snap count I got to worry about. Now I can't change it up. Now I got to go on a silent count. Now I got to talk to people in between plays, and it's harder. So it shouldn't affect it. But for some reason, this series, it's been crazy, the swings and the momentum on each side.
So who on the defensive side of the ball from Michigan is going to have to step up and push through that if they want to have a chance to win?
First of all, they got a lot of guys on the defensive side of the football. They're good. Michigan's defense is, I mean, you talk about Penn State's defense being one of the best in the country. Michigan's is there with it too. It's just not as big and physical up front, but you got Uchi up front. They pressure the quarterback, by the way, almost 50% of the time. Like 50% of dropbacks. If you've watched Sean Clifford throughout the season, pressure isn't he's a great runner. He's developing in the passing game. And when he gets pressured, his eyes come down and he kind of starts to want to run because he's really good at it. He's going to have to make plays in the passing game. But there's plenty of guys up front in Michigan. They're going to swarm and they'll put pressure on him. And how does he handle it? Because that's
oh, by the way, Don Brown. I remember last
that boy good. I mean,
that boy good.
Don Brown's always good.
Chase Winovich calling him the Yoda of defensive.
The Don. Yeah, I mean, and listen, he had great players over the last several years and not as many household names now and less experience. So I think you could say that he's doing more, and they're being more creative again too, which isn't necessarily a good thing. But they also in the secondary have guys that can play man coverage and make life hard. But KJ Hamler, that's a dude.
Human pogo stick.
That's a dude.
You guys like that guy.
He made. I don't know if y'all saw the Iowa game, but he made 3 people miss in a space this big. By the way,
about 7.
He literally was like
7.
He was like, ow, 1, ow, 2, ow, 3. I mean, just
one more time
takes
on
ankles.
That. One more time.
He almost broke his own ankle.
Yeah. That's well done. So with that being said, I mean, you mentioned defensive lines. Penn State's defensive line obviously getting after the quarterback too.
Dirty.
So, yeah. So
dirty. So good up front.
Shea Patterson, we already talked about his struggles. How does Shea handle that defensive line?
I don't know. Because they haven't done it yet. I mean, they haven't. Nobody's handled Penn State's front, and you know we talk about it's not just 99, and we talk about Gross Matos a lot, but you watch the tape and it's Tony, and it's 18, it's 11, it's 6, it's 54. Like you just keep going all the way down the list. They're the fastest front seven James Franklin has had, the most athletic. They're going to chase you. They're long. They're like hoopers up front, man. Long, athletic guys that can really run. So. The passing game is where you have to exploit them. If I have a weakness of Penn State, their secondary is not elite, okay? So you better be able to throw the football because you're not going to line up and pound it.
All right. Especially with the height advantage for the Michigan wide receivers, by the way. They're going to have a huge
They got 3 guys out there. You better be able to make plays. I mean, we talk about this. You talked about how athletic they are, how good they are. Show it.
We're going to show you what's going on around the nation in college football in a second. But first, Fitz has been doing his research, okay?
Oh, yeah.
He's been working really hard. Take a look at Fitz's Big Four presented by Samsung Q LED TV.
It's time for Fitz's Big Four this week. We rank 4 players that will impact the college football playoff this season, doing it reverse order because there's a surprise at the end. No surprise at the top. Joe Burrow from LSU. The only surprise here is getting this level of quarterback play out of LSU. We're not used to it, and it will have to continue because let's remember, as much as we know there is talent on the defensive side of the ball for LSU, they are 60th in passing defense right now in yards allowed. LSU is going to have to put points up in order to continue to win games. They have a home game against Auburn, and then, yes, they go to Bama, and LSU fans hope they have the SEC championship game. Speaking of Bama, number 2 on the list is Tua. Tua is also going to have to keep that production up because of the matchup against LSU. They get LSU at home. They also have to take on Auburn. They also hope that they can get to the SEC championship game. But Nick Saban told ESPN this summer he was worried about youth and depth on the defensive side of the ball. Those will be factors. At number 3, Justin Fields. Let's get the Big Ten some love finally, will we? Yes, he's looked absolutely incredible this season, but it will have to sustain, and they still have 3 big matchups left. They go to Michigan, which is always tough as a rivalry. They get Penn State at home, top 10 matchup, and then they get Wisconsin at home. We have seen Justin Fields and Ohio State do whatever they want to every single defense, but that will have to sustain as they try and work their way up the rankings. And speaking of that Wisconsin game, Jack Cohn is the surprise on this list. Why on God's green earth is he here? Well, we've seen what Wisconsin looks like when Jonathan Taylor's at his best but doesn't have a quarterback, and it is not good enough. This is a Wisconsin team that can play their way into the playoff if they get good quarterback play. And, by the way, Cohn's been good against rivals. 86% completion against Sparty, 81% against Michigan. When he's had to play against rivals, he's played well. He will have to keep playing well in order to sustain drives, which is key to trying to stop Justin Fields. That's my Big Four. What's yours? Tweet me at Jason Fitz.
I love when people use amazing stats like that to make their argument, but you didn't mention the completion percentage against Northwestern.
Well, because that wasn't part of my argument.
It wasn't a part of the argument. Big Team 101.
But the question was 4 players that will impact the college football playoff. And the reason I put Cohn in there is because Wisconsin does have the ability to play their way in. And that's none of us think that they're better than Ohio State. But if they want to have any shot at beating Ohio State, the only way they can do that is if Jack Cohn plays well. So for that reason, he makes it onto my list.
Yeah, and listen, we don't put defensive players on those lists a lot of times. It's just not the way it works. But he's also going to have to go through Chase Young and have to play well against an active Ohio State defense. But there's a lot of guys. Clifford's the same way, I think. I mean, you could put him in that conversation. I think Penn State's defense is good enough. Their offense is going to be the question mark. If he continues to develop and find ways to make explosive plays in the passing game, you could put him on
I love
list.
that you find a way, no matter what show we're doing, to just say Chase Young's name.
He's an
I love it. He's like, every time he's like, also Chase
player
Young.
in college football. Like, we can talk about all we want about quarterbacks and all that stuff. There's one superhuman freakazoid that is on the field every week that can't be stopped, and that's him.
You know, we should just have a segment in the show, just watch Chase Young real quick. This is
I
his
can
moment.
pull clips every week.
You should. Can we do that from now on?
I mean,
I'll talk to the producers. We'll make it happen.
We had Mike Golick Jr. on the show with us a few weeks ago, and that game, after the Nebraska-Ohio State game, we were standing on the field, and Chase Young walked by, and Mike is not a small guy, and he just looked up and he said, "Good God, I can't imagine facing him." I mean, that is how large Chase Young is. I don't think you realize until you're standing next to him.
You don't at all.
And athletic.
Yeah.
And has phenomenal technique. Besides that, you got a great chance to beat him.
You want a jersey or something? Hey, there's other games across the country.
Glad to wear Chase Young.
Pac-12. He's excited about the Pac-12. Go ahead.
All right,
Washington and Oregon.
Washington, Oregon. What are you looking for this one?
Oh, this is awesome. This is the Pac-12's last chance. Maria, we talked about this yesterday. Oregon is on life support, but
I think they're going to take a deep breath. Unplug the ventilator.
Breathe in deep. And their defense has been carrying the day. Justin Herbert, Jacob Eason will be a fun matchup. Both quarterbacks talked about, NFL draft and ranked in the first round mocks by most people. Who's going to play well? Justin Herbert's got the wheels. Jacob Eason does not. So it'll be interesting to watch.
I just love it's an Oregon team that seems to have taken on the personality of Mario Cristobal.
There's no doubt.
The defense has shown up. I mean, they gave up, 27 points to Auburn, and since then they haven't given up 27 points total to everyone else.
Single digits for everybody. I mean,
absolutely.
Unbelievable.
It's been
secondary is locked down against Jacob Eason's last time we saw Jacob Eason play a really good defense, it did not go well for him. By the way, when do we start talking about Washington's offense the last 3 years?
That's true.
Because when they made the college football playoff several years ago, it was like big play after big play, and then all of a sudden Jake Browning comes back and struggles, and then he struggles again, and now Jacob Eason. The offense is not pulling its weight. I feel like with Chris Peterson, we always saw all those fundamental offenses that could run the ball and play action, and now it's kind of a mixed bag with them.
Let's stay in the Pac-12, go to another big game since you're Pac-12 hungry this week. Arizona State at Utah, 17-13. What are you looking for in that one?
You know, Utah is forgotten about, and their defense is definitely going to have to play hard because, Benjamin is a physical freak. I mean, he runs downhill, runs physical, and then Jaden Daniels, this dude's a true freshman, man, but he's going to be special. In big moments, he's played great. Utah, by the way, not even on the scene. Tyler Huntley's had a phenomenal season, but they're not even talked about because the USC loss was bad, but they're a team that I think could run the table and literally be in the conversation. Now, I think the Pac-12 has taken themselves out of the running probably, but...
So they're not on the ventilator. You're not putting Utah's off the ventilator?
If anybody... Utah and Oregon are on the ventilator, but the cord and the news is not good. It's one of those things where, listen, we don't have a lot of activity. Y'all have the decision to make, okay? So, y'all, that's kind of where we're at.
Really quickly, Utah's run defense has been great. Do you think that they're obviously facing a better running back than they have faced those? So can they stop him?
Well, here's the thing. Their defense is phenomenal, and their defensive line is phenomenal. Arizona State's offensive line is not phenomenal, okay? So it's going to be – I love Jaden Daniels, and he's going to be special. Today is probably not the day you're going to go buy Jaden Daniels stock. I mean, Utah's good. They're at home. I don't know if this one's going to be a great game for Arizona State.
Okay, let me see whose stock you're buying in Florida and South Carolina. South Carolina coming off a big win, an upset over Georgia in Athens. Florida coming off a loss to LSU where, again, it was tied at halftime. I feel like they played well. They had some injuries on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Who are we buying stock in this one?
Well, let's go quarterbacks. We know what we're going to get from Florida, and we know we're going to get good play. And Trask has been a guy. Listen, Emory Jones is going to come in and play some, but South Carolina's defense, physical on the outside, long
Will Muschamp, hello.
Will Muschamp's done a great job.
Going.
And here's the thing, dude. They're at home, so I think they can keep this game close. Bernard obviously gets banged up along with, Zuniga not playing. That's a big deal. And so how does South Carolina keep it close? They might be on their third-string quarterback. They might not. But just play physical defense, be opportunistic. If they don't beat Georgia a week ago, we probably don't mention this. And
now it's the
Florida
game.
might not take them as serious, but now they'll take them serious. So
no, obviously Helinski was injured last week for South Carolina. It is probable he's going to play today, so we'll see what difference that makes.
If you saw him last week, even before the low hit, he was hobbly in the knee brace. You could tell it was an issue. So he's not going to be 100%.
Well, and either way, he is just going to get absolutely wrecked by that defensive line. So, this is one of those.
Bernard and Zuniga not there? I mean,
I hope Grenard can play. I was so sad at LSU to see him not be able to. I mean, one play, one snap, he has to come out of the game. I mean, he was so upset on the sideline. And you can tell, he's almost the heartbeat of the defense.
Oh, he's an animal.
Yeah, so things change when he's not able to play.
There's no doubt.
But I do like Israel Mukwamu.
Thank you for saying that name.
3 interceptions.
That dude, Namdi Asamoah type guy. Long, freaky long.
Yeah. Looks like a basketball player out there running back and forth. We had to go.
I don't know what we're doing now other than dancing.
Okay, here's what we're doing. We're welcoming in a 5-time Pro Bowler, a guy who finished up here. His senior year was 2005. Tamba Hali, who played 12 years in the NFL. Bring it on over here, buddy. Okay, so you know what I love about your entire story? Was it the second whiteout ever that you were able to play in 05?
I think we were the first.
You think
first? Yeah, with the Ohio State game, right?
What happened?
What happened in that game?
Who won that game?
We won that game.
Yes, they did.
Never forget. So you know what it was like when it started. What do you remember, when your coach comes out and they tell you for the first time we're going to have a whiteout, it's going to look a little bit different. How did it feel to play in that game?
A little different. Joe didn't really emphasize on it. He just, he was real focused about us being on the field and playing.
But what's it like on the field? What's the difference in a whiteout game versus a normal game?
Well, for me to describe it, the fans can describe it.
They can
The fans can describe it. The feeling is they get loud. We get excited. We get out there. We make plays all day. That's how it feels.
What do you think? as an alum watching this defense, I mean, does it make you? Because it would make me feel happy to watch these guys compete and eat.
They're way bigger than we were.
Yes.
And they're very athletic.
Long.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they can get after the passer.
So walk me through, all right, what you're like when you're watching the team, not when you're playing. When you're watching the team as a fan, you watch them get down. Like, how do you watch Penn State football?
Well, I get mad. I start screaming. You know?
Obviously.
just like normal fans.
I'm screaming out of the stands. I'm a fan. I want our guys to do well.
Well, what have you noticed about this Penn State team under James Franklin? I mean, you've been able to see a lot of different variations of what Penn State football looks like. What does it look like under his leadership?
It's what they're preaching. They're preaching championship. I was in the locker room yesterday listening to him speak, and the way they conduct themselves going into games, taking it a step at a time, but to the next level, keeping the focus.
He brings up a good point because Penn State, we think about it's like it's a top 15 team, and so you're almost like, so what is the next step? Like, what is it's the beating Ohio State, it's the winning the Big Ten, it's the making it into the top 4. That's where they are at this point. How do they get over the edge?
Say it again?
How do they get over the edge?
You ain't used to dealing with this crowd and having to talk, are you, bro?
Just the focus. Just focus, because they got all the talent in the world to win games. If they can focus, during the game and execute the way they should, I think they can do well.
You know what I love hearing from former players? Your favorite moment or play when you played here. I know you have a play, a quarterback you sacked. I know you have a game that you loved. Right. What was it? What was the moment?
Well, I have to give it up for the Ohio State game. It has to be. Coach Johnson at that time, he really preached us running to the ball, not giving up. We worked tirelessly. And for that to happen that day, and Scott Paxton recovering that fumble, it's like everything went off and we won that game.
You flipped somebody.
Yeah, Troy Smith.
Yeah.
On his head.
You flipped him on his head.
By the way, the people coming out of the crowd right there, one of those guys needed to put a little more clothes on. That was aggressive.
When you're on the field and you see a fan that's just painted head to toe, and he starts running on the field to celebrate, are you happy or are you a little scared of that guy?
You get excited. I mean, the way they feel about us playing the game, you get excited. You want to give them a hug.
That's how Pollack feels every time I walk into the pre-show meeting, painted head to toe. Every time.
Okay, well, as we go out on the end of week 8, we just wanted to roll through some of our favorite moments so far in college football. I'll go ahead and start. So one of my favorite moments starts with Tennessee. Remember we had the bullying t-shirt come out of UT. I enjoyed that. I actually loved the fact that they got behind this kid, they put it up in their school, and they made sure that all of the proceeds are going to a nonprofit that will support bullying. It was kind of one of those cool stories that happened early, and obviously it's a good storyline at Tennessee that we haven't been able to have on the field. Jonathan Taylor just being kick-ass, can I say that on Twitter? The entire season, I just want to talk about him every single time he takes the field. He destroyed Michigan's defense, and I've enjoyed being able to share the same last name as Jonathan.
So vulgar.
And then, of course, the pink out. Remember, supporting Arkansas State's Blake Anderson as he deals with the tragedy of losing his wife to breast cancer. The University of Georgia having a pink out in his honor was incredible to see the students come out and do that, and that's what college football is all about, supporting a cause like that and just making sure that they come together at the right times and represent the right things.
It's an amazing moment. You're right. It's everything that's perfect about college football. Pollack?
Do I have one of these things too?
You do. Do you want to just wait until it starts rolling?
Biggest surprise. Yeah, just start rolling whenever I say.
Start rolling on Pollack so
biggest
you can
surprise. Let's see. Joe Burrow, baby, yeah! I mean, taking the offense from Stone Age to New Age that quick, Joe Burrow, Joe Brady combination, unbelievable. This shocked me. I mean, you're talking about midseason redshirting now and tanking in college football. De'Aaron King and Houston deciding to take a redshirt after scoring over 15 touchdowns the year before. It's very strange. And then 2 undefeated teams that we all had, Baylor and Minnesota, right? I had them, national championship game. This was my matchup, Baylor versus Minnesota. So huge surprises up until this point.
I'm going to give you the best plays of the year so far, according to me. and we'll get this rolling here. The best play. We'll start with Jalen Hurts doing his best David Pollack little basketball action. He's going behind the back.
Hit him with the crossover.
He's like, no, you can't stop me. And then he comes over. He's running around. He still gets the pass off, by the way, and gets the completion.
People get there.
But that's not the only Alabama play that made it on this list, because you also have CeeDee Lamb getting it.
They look like Alabama. It's okay.
This is, sorry, God, Oklahoma. My bad. I'm a little flustered. You didn't even know you had something. CeeDee Lamb went straight NCAA football with that move right there. My favorite play of the year, though, goes to a big guy, Adrian McGee.
Sit down.
You don't just pancake once. He pancakes. He looks over. He decides he's going to feed.
You love this, right? You love that.
No, he doesn't.
Love that.
He's a defensive lineman. We don't like offensive linemen.
That's too bad.
Thank you so much for joining us on Countdown to Game Day, presented by Samsung QLED TV. Go turn to ESPN. Game Day's coming on.
Thank you.